The massive alien ship appeared without warning. One moment Earth's skies were clear, the next a vessel larger than anything humans had ever built hung silently above New York City. Military jets scrambled. News feeds crashed. The world held its breath. Captain Alan Wright stood on the bridge of the U.S. Liberty, the newest ship in Earth's small space fleet. His orders were simple: observe but do not engage. "Anything from the alien vessel, Lieutenant?" Alan asked. "No, sir," said Lisa Dawson, her eyes fixed on her communication screen. Complete silence since it appeared 3 hours ago. Alan rubbed his jaw. After years of wondering if humans were alone in the universe, they had their answer. But what kind of answer was this? The radio crackled to life. "Captain Wright, this is Joint Command. You are to escort representatives to the UN meeting. The aliens have made contact." 2 days later, Alan stood in the United Nations building beside diplomat Olivia Grant. Olivia adjusted her suit jacket nervously. "Remember," she whispered, "we're here to listen, not commit to anything." The doors opened, and the alien delegation entered. Their leader stood nearly 7 feet tall with smooth blue-gray skin and 4 arms. Its large eyes took in the room. "I am Thorax," it said, its voice surprisingly human. "Speaker for the Galactic Consortium, a union of 47 spacefaring civilizations." Gasps filled the room. Not just one alien species, but dozens. "We have observed Earth for many decades," Thorax continued. "Your species has potential. You've reached your moon, established colonies on Mars and Europa, and developed fusion technology. You are ready to join the wider galaxy." The UN Secretary-General stepped forward. "We are honored by your interest in humanity." Thorax's mouth formed what might have been a smile. "We offer Earth membership in the consortium. With it comes access to technology thousands of years beyond your own, trade routes spanning hundreds of light years, and protection from the dangers that lurk between stars." Images appeared on screens around the room. Gleaming cities, ships that dwarfed Earth's largest vessels, and strange plants bearing fruit of every color. Alan noticed Olivia's eyes narrow. "What would membership require of us?" she asked. "All new species must undergo a protectorate period." Thorax explained. "Earth would accept consortium governance, limit military development, and follow established protocols for 200 Earth years. 2 centuries under alien rule," Alan muttered. Olivia shot him a warning glance before addressing Thorax. "That's a significant commitment. We would need time to consider." "Of course," Thorax said. "The consortium grants you 30 days. This is most generous. Many species are given only hours." After the aliens left, arguments broke out across the planet. Some nations pushed to accept immediately. Others refused to even consider it. In his apartment, Alan reviewed recordings of the meeting. Something felt wrong. The consortium's history, as Thorax described it, had inconsistencies. His phone rang. It was Olivia. "I've been going through the proposed agreement," she said. "The fine print is troubling. Did you know they claim mineral rights to 15% of all planets in our system? And what happens if we say no?" Alan asked. "They never directly stated consequences of refusal," Olivia replied. "That worries me more than anything they did say." Over the next weeks, Earth debated. Dr. Samantha Pierce, a leading xenobiologist, found patterns in alien DNA samples that suggested humans might share distant ancestry with some consortium species. Meanwhile, Pentagon analyst Kevin Reese discovered references in consortium materials to other civilizations that had disappeared after unfortunate diplomatic failures. When the global vote came, it was close. Despite promises of technological paradise, humanity chose independence. Thorax received the news with an expressionless face. "This is unexpected. Few species refuse our generosity. There will be consequences to this decision." As the alien ship departed Earth orbit, Alan watched from the Liberty's bridge. Was that a threat? Lisa asked quietly. Yes, Alan said. I believe it was. And something tells me we'll need to be ready when they return. 3 months passed since Earth refused the Galactic Consortium's offer. The world tried to return to normal, but a sense of unease hung in the air. Countries that once fought each other now shared information and resources. The threat from beyond had united humanity in ways nothing else could. Alan Wright sat in a Pentagon meeting room, now wearing the rank of admiral. Around the table were military leaders from 12 nations. We've detected unusual energy signatures at the edge of our solar system, said General Harris, pointing to a display. They match the consortium ship's signature. They're watching us, Alan said, waiting for something. Across town, Olivia Grant met with diplomats who represented Earth's new unified voice. They called themselves the Earth Defense Coalition. I've analyzed communications from 6 other star systems, Olivia explained. All show the same pattern. The consortium arrived, made their offer, and when refused, imposed trade barriers. Trade barriers aren't so bad, said the French representative. Except they're just the beginning, Olivia replied. 2 of those civilizations went silent within a year. At the Kennedy Space Center, Dr. Samantha Pierce peered through a microscope at a sample taken from a piece of consortium technology left behind. This is remarkable, she said to her assistant. Their biological components share markers with human DNA. The match is too close for coincidence. She typed notes rapidly. The consortium isn't just interested in Earth. They're interested in us, in humans specifically. In a secure room beneath Washington, D.C., Kevin Reese sorted through data intercepted from consortium communications. His eyes widened as the translation program finished its work. I need to speak with Admiral Wright immediately, he said, reaching for the phone. That evening, world leaders gathered for an emergency meeting. Kevin's discovery had sent shockwaves through governments everywhere. The pattern is clear, Kevin explained, showing images of planets before and after consortium contact. Species that accept protectorate status see their populations decline by 60% within 50 years. Their resources are stripped. Their genetics are harvested. And those who refuse, asked the president. Military action, Kevin said grimly. The consortium sends peacekeeping forces to stabilize the situation. Silence filled the room. Then Alan stood. We need to prepare, not just with weapons, but with knowledge. Dr. Pierce's research suggests biological connections between humans and the consortium. That might give us an edge. Olivia nodded. We should also reach out to other species who might have refused. The consortium can't be the only power in the galaxy. The meeting lasted until dawn. When they emerged, Earth had a plan. 2 weeks later, Alan inspected Earth's first true battleship, built in secret using every scrap of knowledge gleaned from studying consortium technology. Will it be enough? Asked his second-in-command, Greg Winters. Not nearly, Alan admitted. But it's a start. Dr. Pierce made a breakthrough that same day. She burst into Olivia's office, waving a tablet. Humans have something the consortium wants, she said breathlessly. Our brains process information differently. We adapt faster, create more innovative solutions. In genetic terms, we're gold mines. So they want us as resources, not partners, Olivia said. Exactly. And there's more. Their biology has weaknesses we can exploit. That night, a technician named Paul Martinez contacted Admiral Wright with an idea. He'd been studying the energy patterns of consortium ships. Their shields operate on principles similar to our fusion containment fields, Paul explained. But I think we can create a disruption. Hope began to spread through Earth's leadership. They were still outmatched, but no longer helpless. Then the sensors detected it. A consortium fleet had entered the solar system. Dozens of ships, moving toward Mars colony. This is it, Alan told his crew as the Liberty prepared to launch. They're not here to negotiate. The first shots of the war were fired near Phobos. Earth's small fleet moved to protect the Mars colonists, knowing they faced an enemy with vastly superior technology. But humanity had something the consortium hadn't counted on: the absolute refusal to surrender their freedom, no matter the cost. Flames erupted from the Mars colony's main dome. The consortium attack had been swift and brutal. 3 human ships were already destroyed, their debris floating silently in space. "We need to retreat," Greg shouted as the Liberty shook from another hit. Admiral Alan Wright gripped his command chair. "Not until the evacuation ships are away." On his screen, he watched civilian vessels racing away from Mars, carrying thousands of colonists. 5 consortium warships moved to intercept them. "To divert all power to forward shields," Alan ordered. "We're going to give those evacuation ships a chance." The Liberty surged forward, putting itself between the civilians and the alien vessels. The ship groaned under enemy fire. "Sir, we can't take much more," Lisa said from her station. Just then, 3 new ships appeared on radar. Earth ships, using Paul Martinez's experimental shield technology. "This is Captain Rodriguez of the Defiance," came a voice over the radio. "Thought you could use some help, Admiral." The tide of battle shifted. Martinez's shields held better than expected. The human ships managed to protect most of the evacuation vessels, though at a terrible cost. Of 8 Earth ships, only 3 survived. Back on Earth, Olivia Grant sat in a dimly lit room, facing a screen. On it was a being unlike any human had ever seen. A Ralga, with 4 eyes and skin like polished bronze. "Your species is brave," the alien said. "Foolish, perhaps, but brave." "We didn't want this war," Olivia replied. "Few do. The consortium has used the same tactics for millennia. They offer protection, then take everything. Will you help us?" The Ralga was silent for a moment. "We survived by hiding. Helping you would reveal us. If we fall, they'll find you eventually," Olivia countered. In her lab beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Pierce examined tissue samples from a fallen consortium soldier. The secure facility had been built in the first month after Earth's refusal. "Look at this cellular structure," she told her team. "They've engineered themselves for space travel, but it's made them vulnerable to certain radiation frequencies." One of her assistants looked up. "Could we use that?" "Maybe. But we need more data." Paul Martinez worked without sleep, improving his shield design. The battle at Mars had proven his concept, but it wasn't enough. The human shields lasted minutes against consortium weapons. They needed hours. "The problem is power distribution," he muttered, sketching on a tablet. "We need to cycle the frequencies faster than they can adjust." A young engineer named Lily Chen looked over his shoulder. "What if we use quantum entanglement to predict their adjustments?" Paul stared at her, then grinned. "That might work." On the moon base, Admiral Wright reviewed the losses from the Mars battle. Over 600 dead, a colony lost, and 3 ships destroyed. Against that, they'd managed to evacuate 80% of the colonists and gather vital combat data. "The consortium is setting up a blockade around Earth," Greg reported. "Their ships are positioned to intercept anything leaving orbit." "What about our asteroid facilities?" "Still undetected, sir. Production continues." Alan nodded. The secret shipyards, hidden in the asteroid belt, were humanity's best hope for building enough vessels to fight back. A message arrived from Olivia. "Made contact with potential allies. Need secure transport for their representatives." For the first time in days, Alan felt a spark of hope. That night, as consortium ships tightened their grip on Earth, something unexpected happened. A small alien vessel slipped through the blockade, moving too fast for interception. It landed near a remote EDC base in Alaska. From it emerged 3 Hralga, carrying data crystals and weapons unlike anything humans had seen. "We bring knowledge," their leader told the stunned human guards. "Knowledge of how the consortium can be defeated." In orbit, the consortium commander observed Earth with cold calculation. Humans were proving more resilient than anticipated. The standard conquest timeline would need adjustment. He sent a message to Consortium High Command. Request additional forces. Humanity refuses to submit. The response came quickly. Request denied. Complete your mission with available resources. Failure is not acceptable. The commander's forehands clenched. High Command did not understand what they were facing. These humans were different. They fought not just with weapons, but with desperate innovation. For the first time in his long career, the commander wondered if the Consortium had made a mistake. 6 months into the war, Earth was holding on by a thread. The Consortium blockade had cut off most space travel. Food was rationed in many countries. Yet somehow, humanity refused to break. In a hidden facility beneath the Pacific Ocean, Alan met with the Hralga representatives and Earth's military leaders. "The Consortium has a fatal flaw," said Krell, the lead Hralga. "They never change their tactics. For 10,000 years, they have fought the same way against every species." Alan studied the alien battle plans on the display. They attack in formation. Always the same patterns. "Yes," Krell confirmed. "Their minds seek efficiency through repetition. They cannot comprehend unpredictability as a strategy." Greg leaned forward. "So we do what they don't expect." On the other side of the world, Olivia worked to build a coalition of species who oppose the Consortium. The Hralga had made contact with 3 other civilizations in hiding. The Nuveri can provide advanced metals, Olivia told the Earth Defense Council. The Trellics have energy technology beyond even the Consortiums, and the Dovan are masters of stealth systems. "Can we trust them?" asked the council leader. "They've suffered under the Consortium longer than we have," Olivia replied. "Their hatred runs deep." Dr. Pierce made a breakthrough while studying Consortium biology. She rushed to Alan's office, her eyes bright with excitement. "Their nervous systems are vulnerable to specific electromagnetic frequencies," she explained. "It won't kill them, but it could disrupt their ability to fight." Alan immediately contacted Paul Martinez. "Can you modify our weapons to emit these frequencies?" Paul's tired face lit up on the screen. "Not just weapons. I can build devices that create fields of this energy. Entire areas where their systems fail." For the first time, Alan allowed himself to feel real hope. The first test of the new strategy came when a Consortium patrol discovered one of Earth's hidden asteroid bases. 3 human ships moved to intercept, using erratic, seemingly random flight patterns that confused the Consortium targeting systems. "They're breaking formation," reported Lisa from her station on the Liberty. "They don't know how to respond." When the Consortium ships came within range, Paul's electromagnetic disruptors activated. The alien vessels slowed, their weapons firing wildly. "It's working," Alan said, watching the battle unfold. "They're vulnerable." The human ships closed in, using conventional weapons to disable the Consortium vessels. For the first time, humans captured intact alien ships. News of the victory spread quickly through Earth's resistance network. More victories followed as human forces adopted unpredictable tactics that the Consortium couldn't counter. In his command ship, the Consortium commander faced a difficult conversation with his superiors. "Humans do not fight according to established protocols," he reported. "They change tactics constantly. Our predictive systems are failing." The High Command representative's face showed no emotion. "This is unacceptable. No primitive species has ever presented such difficulties." "They are not primitive in their thinking," the commander argued. "They embrace chaos as a strategy." "You will receive reinforcements," the representative said coldly. "End this rebellion immediately." After the transmission ended, the commander stood alone, staring at images of Earth. Something about these humans fascinated him. They fought with a passion his own species had lost centuries ago. On Earth, a daring plan took shape. With the help of their new allies, humans began constructing a fleet in secret locations throughout the solar system. Ships built with Nuveri metals, powered by Trellick's energy cores, and hidden by Dovan stealth systems. Dr. Pierce and Paul worked together to create a weapon that combined their discoveries, a device that could disable consortium ships without destroying them. "We don't need to kill them," Paul said as they tested the prototype. "We just need to stop them." The first human counteroffensive was planned for Earth's moon. The consortium had established a major base there, controlling much of the orbital space around Earth. As the combined human and allied fleet prepared for battle, Alan addressed his commanders. "Today we show the consortium that refusing their offer wasn't just defiance," he said. "It was the right choice for our species and for the galaxy. Today, we begin taking back what's ours." The battle for the moon lasted 3 days. Human ships, equipped with Paul's disruption technology, struck from multiple directions. The consortium forces struggled to respond to the chaotic attack patterns. "They're falling back from the northern quadrant," Greg reported to Alan on the Liberty's bridge. "Press the advantage," Alan ordered. "Don't give them time to regroup." Earth ships swarmed the retreating consortium vessels. When the aliens attempted to form a defensive line, Dr. Pierce's electromagnetic weapons activated, disrupting their systems. By the 3rd day, the moon was back in human hands. It was a turning point that no one, not even humanity's allies, had thought possible. In a secure bunker on the lunar surface, Alan walked among captured consortium technology. The aliens had fled so quickly they left behind valuable equipment and data. "Their transmission logs show they've requested massive reinforcements," Lisa said, reviewing the captured files. "A fleet 10 times larger than anything we faced." Alan nodded grimly. "Then we need to work faster." On Earth, Olivia hosted representatives from 17 alien species. The news of humanity's victory had spread, inspiring others to emerge from hiding. "For too long, we have lived in fear," said a Trellix ambassador, his crystalline body glowing with emotion. "Humans have shown us another way." "We didn't just win a battle," Olivia told them. "We showed that the consortium can be beaten. Now we need to build something better to replace them." In her lab, Dr. Pierce made another discovery while studying the wounded consortium soldier who had been captured alive. "Their genetic structure is partially artificial," she explained to Paul as they examined the data. "They've been modifying themselves for generations. It's made them strong, but inflexible." "Can we use that against them?" Paul asked. Samantha smiled. "I think so. Their biology is specialized for space travel and efficiency, but it can't adapt quickly to new threats." Paul thought for a moment. "Like a computer program that can't update its own code." "Exactly." Together, they began working on a biological countermeasure, not a weapon, but a protection for humans against consortium bioweapons. Meanwhile, in deep space, the consortium reinforcements approached. The massive armada was led by a high commander, one of the oldest and most powerful members of the consortium leadership. "This human resistance ends now," the high commander told his fleet. "We will make an example of Earth that the galaxy will remember for millennia." Unknown to the consortium, their communications were being intercepted by Dovin's stealth ships. Every plan, every formation was relayed back to Earth. In a surprising move, a mid-level consortium commander named Trex reached out secretly to human forces. His message was transmitted directly to the Liberty. "Your species fights with honor," Trex's message stated. "Many in our ranks question the wisdom of this war. The High Command does not speak for all of us." Alan was skeptical, but Trex provided valuable intelligence about the approaching fleet. As Earth prepared for the largest battle yet, a strange thing happened among the human population. Instead of fear, there was determination. People volunteered for dangerous missions. Scientists worked around the clock. The planet united as never before. Hall's team finished a new version of the disruption technology that could affect larger areas. Dr. Pierce completed her biological shield, protecting humans from consortium weapons. The asteroid belt factories worked at full capacity, producing ships designed by human engineers working alongside alien allies. Each vessel incorporated technology from multiple species: Nuvari metals, Trellix power systems, Ralga navigation, and human unpredictability. When the massive consortium fleet arrived at the edge of the solar system, They found not a cowering planet, but a waiting armada. Human ships were joined by vessels from a dozen species that had chosen to stand with Earth. "They outnumber us 3-1, Greg said quietly as the enemy appeared on the Liberty sensors. Alan looked at the tactical display, then at his crew. "But we have something they don't understand. Freedom. And we'll show them what humans will do to keep it." The greatest space battle in human history was about to begin. The solar system became a battlefield. Explosions lit up the darkness of space as human and consortium ships clashed around every planet and moon. On the Liberty, Alan directed the defense of Earth. His plan was working. The human fleet did not fight as one unit, but broke into small groups that attacked and retreated, never staying in one place long enough for the consortium to use their superior numbers. "Group 7 needs backup near Europa," Lisa called out. "Send the Defiance and 2 Trellick ships," Alan ordered. The battle had raged for 14 hours with no clear winner. The consortium forces were struggling to adapt to human tactics, but their numbers gave them an advantage. In orbit around Mars, Paul led a special mission. His ship carried a new weapon, a massive version of the disruption device that could affect consortium biology directly. "We're in position," Paul told his crew. "Target the command ship." The device activated, sending waves of energy through space. On the consortium vessels, alien soldiers began to lose coordination. Their movements slowed. Their weapons fired wildly. "It's working," Paul reported back to Earth. "Their ships are vulnerable." Human forces surged forward, targeting the confused consortium fleet. Ship after ship was disabled, not destroyed. That was part of the plan. On the consortium command vessel, the High Commander faced mutiny. Trex and other officers had turned against him. "This war is wrong," Trex declared. "Humans deserve the right to choose their own path." "Traitor," the High Commander hissed. "The consortium has ruled for thousands of years. We decide which species rise and which fall." "Not anymore," Trex replied. Back on Earth, Olivia worked with their alien allies on the next phase of the plan. The Dovan had provided stealth technology that allowed them to slip a small team onto the consortium command ship. "The infiltration team is in position," a Dovan operative reported. "They are ready to deploy the virus." This wasn't a computer virus, but something Dr. Pierce had created. It would not harm the consortium physically, but would override their communication systems. "Begin the broadcast," Olivia ordered. The infiltration team, led by Greg, reached the central communication hub of the consortium flagship. They fought their way through weakened guards and connected Dr. Pierce's device to the main systems. "Device activated," Greg reported through a static-filled channel. "Beginning transmission in 3, 2, 1. Throughout the consortium fleet, screens lit up with images, not of battle plans or military data, but of truth. The virus was revealing the consortium's secret history. Thousands of years of exploitation, worlds stripped of resources, species manipulated and destroyed. Most importantly, it showed how the consortium leaders had lied to their own people. Many consortium citizens believed they were bringing order and advancement to primitive worlds. Now they saw the reality of what their leaders had done. On hundreds of ships, consortium crews stopped fighting. Some turned against their commanders. Others simply shut down their weapons. A High Commander's voice boomed across all channels. "Ignore these lies. Continue the attack." But the damage was done. Too many had seen the truth. Human ships pressed their advantage. They disabled but did not destroy the remaining consortium vessels. This wasn't about revenge. It was about creating a new future. Alan watched from the Liberty as the battle shifted decisively. After hours of fighting, the consortium fleet was in disarray. Nearly a third of their ships had changed sides, joining Trex's growing rebellion. "We're winning," Lisa said in wonder. "Not yet," Alan replied. "The High Commander still controls their largest ships." As if in response to his words, the consortium flagship began moving directly toward Earth, its weapons charging. "They're going to target major cities," Greg warned from his position on the infiltration team. The High Commander is ordering a final strike. Helen made a quick decision. All ships, converge on the flagship. We need to stop them before they reach Earth. The Liberty led the charge, joined by vessels from every allied species. They formed a barrier between Earth and the approaching threat. As the consortium flagship fired its main weapon, Paul activated their most powerful disruption field. The energy beam wavered, its power diminished but not stopped. Brace for impact, Alan ordered as the beam struck the Liberty's shields. The ship shuddered violently. Systems failed across the bridge, but they had succeeded in absorbing the blast meant for Earth. Through damaged sensors, Alan watched as Allied ships surrounded the consortium flagship. The final phase of the battle for humanity's freedom had begun. The Liberty drifted, its engines silent. Half the bridge was dark, emergency lights casting red shadows across worried faces. Alan pulled himself from the floor, wiping blood from his forehead. "Damage report," he ordered. "Life support at 40%. Lisa replied, her voice steadied despite the chaos. "Weapons offline. Shields gone." Through the view screen, Alan watched the consortium flagship surrounded by Allied vessels. The massive ship still had power, still had weapons, but seemed unwilling to fire on the smaller craft swarming around it. "The infiltration team?" Alan asked. "Still aboard the flagship." Greg's voice came through static. "We're with Trex. The High Commander has locked himself in the control center with his most loyal officers." Olivia's voice joined the channel from Earth Command. "Alan, our sensors show the consortium fleet is splitting. Over half have ceased hostile actions. Some are actively turning against the High Commander's forces." It was the moment they had hoped for, but hadn't dared expect. The consortium, which had ruled the galaxy through fear for thousands of years, was fracturing from within. "The High Commander is preparing another weapon," Greg reported urgently. "Something massive. Trex says it could destroy half the planet." Alan looked at his damaged ship. The Liberty couldn't stop another attack, but they had one option left. "Paul," he called, "is your prototype ready?" On his ship near Mars, Paul Martinez checked the small device in his hands. It represented months of work combining Dr. Pierce's biological research with his own disruption technology. "It's ready," Paul confirmed. "But someone has to deliver it directly to the flagship's core. The range is limited." "I'll do it," Alan said immediately. "No," Lisa protested. "We need you to coordinate the fleet. Greg and I can place it." Trex's voice came through the channel. "We know the path to the power core." The plan came together quickly. A small Dovan stealth ship docked with the Liberty, taking the prototype from Alan's hands. Then it vanished, its advanced technology making it invisible to sensors as it raced toward the consortium flagship. On Earth, Dr. Pierce watched anxiously as the final pieces moved into place. Her work would either save humanity or fail them completely. "The device is designed to rewire their neural pathways temporarily," she explained to Olivia. "It won't harm them permanently, but it will prevent aggressive action." "Let's hope it works," Olivia replied. Inside the consortium flagship, Greg and Trex fought their way toward the core. The small device clutched in Greg's hand. Loyal consortium soldiers tried to stop them, but many others stood aside or even helped. "We're almost there," Greg reported. At that moment, alarms blared throughout the flagship. The High Commander's voice echoed through every corridor. "Initiate final protocol," he ordered. "If we cannot rule, then Earth shall not exist." The massive ship began to glow as its ultimate weapon charge. Greg and Trex reached the power core, a towering column of energy that pulsed with blinding light. "Now," Trex shouted. Greg activated the device and threw it into the core. For a terrible moment, nothing happened. Then a wave of energy spread outward, washing through the ship and beyond. In the control center, the High Commander raised his hand to give the final order to fire. Then he froze. His mind, engineered for conquest and control, suddenly could not form the thought patterns needed for violence. Throughout the consortium fleet, The same effects spread. The neural pathways that the consortium had cultivated for war and domination were temporarily rewired for peace. The flagship's weapons powered down. The battle was over. 3 days later, Alan stood with Olivia, Paul, and Dr. Pierce in a grand hall on Earth. Representatives from 43 species, including many former consortium members, had gathered to form a new alliance. Trex stepped forward, no longer wearing consortium insignia. For millennia, the consortium offered false choices: submit or be destroyed. Humanity showed us there was another way. He turned to the human representatives. You refused an offer of servitude disguised as protection. In doing so, you freed not only yourselves but countless others. Alan looked out at the gathered species. Former enemies, now allies. Hidden civilizations now emerging into the open. We didn't just refuse their offer, he said quietly. We made a better one. As the new Galactic Council began its first session, Earth took its place not as a protectorate, but as an equal. Humanity had proven that freedom, even when difficult and dangerous, was worth fighting for. And across the stars, other worlds watched and wondered what offer humanity might bring to them.